The standard processes in ITAD consist of logistics management, the freight haul. And what do we mean by logistics management? Logistics management means how is the customer aggregating their assets? And is it multiple locations? Is it multiple floors? Or is it on a loading dock? Do they have them packaged properly? So do I have to bring packing materials to fill the truck? So that's logistics management. The second thing, it's also to set the expectations of what's to be received in the processing facility. The next is the freight haul. So the actual movement of devices from point A to point B. Once it's received, right, then you have the visual cue of looking at them, and you have the opportunity to say, well, this device here is traditionally just scrap or it's an accessory, so it's going to go down this part of the line versus, oh, here's a data bearing device, here's a monitor, or here's something that has to have environmental consideration or data sanitization consideration. So it goes down this portion of the line. Once they've made those determinations, right, they can also do light repair. But the next element is the remarketing or the repurposing of those devices, either as a whole unit, the sum of the parts, or as raw material. The other element is the true mitigation of the environmental disposition. So, making sure that if a zero landfill policy is in place, that nothing goes into the landfill. So they guarantee that element. And then the last point is the reporting, the generating of that data and then providing that data back to their client, either in an ingestible format, or API integrated into whatever their management systems are, ServiceNow being like a big one for the Fortune 500. So that's a really great question to ask, is what are the base standard processes that are consistent across all ITAD providers? And that's it right there.
So these items that you listed, Bo, these are a checklist of what would be the basics of an ITAD
Yep.
operation within a large enterprise.
Regardless if you're a client or you're the ITAD processor,
Okay.
you have to have a discussion about logistics management, the freight haul, the actual processing of the device, which the processing includes data sanitization, repair or not, the remarketing or repurposing, the actual disposition of things that truly have no ability to capture, right? So it truly is just waste. And then that data that's generated, the reporting, because you need to understand where your assets are and how you're putting them together. Because to your point, we had clients all over the board where it's like, okay, we know this building had 3 floors and each floor had 5 closets. So our people would go to all 5 closets, and if it was in the closet, it got taken. And then we would walk out and we would leave a report right there with the receptionist to say, here's what we took out of here. And that's what the customer wanted. And we said, okie doke. And that works. But to your point, in for efficiency perspective, right? Everybody wants it where it's like, hey, have it right by the front door. And if you can have it on a pallet, even better.